Hello and welcome back to my channel, Refreshing Words with Danielle Brooks. I am continuing my series, MayDay, My Healing Journey, A to Z. Well, today we are on the letter G and the word is grief. If I were going to create a soundtrack for these words on my healing journey, I think I would pick the song Yesterday by MayDay for grief. Grief, I have come to know, is not just about physical death or loss of a loved one. For me, it has been grieving a loss of dreams and a loss of time. I remember the ending of my marriage, and I thought I was going to feel joyful and elated. But in that immediate moment, I remember just feeling relief, followed very quickly with grief. Grieving the idea of what the relationship was supposed to be. I've also grieved my childhood. Just have had various things that I've worked through with my mother and my father. And so a lot of grief for me in my childhood is just the grief of what never was. The childhood that I wished I had had. The time that I wished I'd had with my father. I didn't know my father until I was 13 years old, and he died when I was 16. And I just remember feeling so robbed of opportunities to have a father, to be a daddy's girl, this thing that I saw that other people had that I wanted. And I spent many years grieving what I never had and what I never could have here on earth because, he died so early in my life. I grieved the years I spent in survival mode, opportunities that I passed up on. I grieved for the little girl inside me who never felt safe for most of her childhood. I just had to move through those feelings, and it was a lot of grief attached to that. And I'll just say, grief, it just comes on its own time. There's no timetable for it. There have been things that I thought would crush me or send me into a tailspin that I was fine with, and other smaller things that cut and hurt a lot deeper. Things I thought I was over, and then that grief would come creeping back, really like a whisper on some days, and other days yelling and screaming for attention. I remember some days just berating myself, being angry. I used to talk to myself very badly. And I can remember times when I would, feel those feelings bubbling up, and I would just be like, how in the world can you still be crying over this? Why? Almost like toughen up, buck up, I used to talk a little crazy to myself, and I'm grateful I don't do that anymore, that I've taken the time to love that version of myself, to just sit and listen. As I've said in earlier videos and writings, that I've spent time on my healing journey, just gathering all the pieces of me and reconciling myself to myself. That's been part of the grief even grieving the way I treated myself as I healed. There's this saying that grief is just love with nowhere to go. And I think I can believe that. I think that love showed up in me, changing the way I talk to myself when I experience grief, that I investigate why I am experiencing this grief, that I, make altars where I need to mark the moments of what I survived and to celebrate myself, celebrate the things that the Lord has brought me through. And so that's how that love part has shown up for me. I can say I've grieved while smiling. I have grieved in moments where I have also been very grateful. And so just like either yesterday or day before, where I said, mercy and justice can coexist, I believe that grief and love can coexist. They do for me. And so finally I'll say, grief for me is like a bridge of what was and what is becoming. It's just this continuum that there is something I am walking over, walking through. It is the through line that is connecting all of me, but I'm not going to drown in it, succumb to it, get stuck in it, but it's just this bridge carrying me over, carrying me through. And as I said, I also look at it as a celebration. We in traditions, in physical death, we call the funeral a celebration of life. We want to come together and honor a life. And so when I think about the moments of the life I am currently living and getting to know myself, I celebrate a life that I am enjoying, a life that is worth living, a life that is uniquely mine. And I celebrate the privilege that it is to still be alive and healing my way to freedom. I am overjoyed about that. And though I still cry sometimes, I celebrate where I am going. I celebrate being deeply known, knowing myself deeply. So I think I will pause there. I will end there, rather, not pause. And just want to encourage anyone who is experiencing grief on the healing journey that you take your time with it and you do what you need to do to move through that grief, knowing that it doesn't have a timeline, that it's okay when it pops up unexpectedly. Have your tissues, have your cry. Oh, if only I could sing, I would certainly sing. I think about that again, that Mary, Mary song. So many times I feel like I cried my last tears yesterday, but then they came right back again. And so I could sing that song or hear that song and sing along with Mary, Mary. I cried my last tears yesterday. And so again, thank you for coming on this journey with me. If you have any words of wisdom about grief, please drop a comment at the end of this video in the comment section of the video. As always, I thank you for sharing time with me today, and I invite you to like, subscribe, and share this content if you think there is someone you know who might connect with these words. Until the next video, thank you and have an incredible day.